Simply Cooking by MmmChef is brought to you in part by CPI Interiors. A great kitchen starts with a great design. Get that custom home interior you dream of. At CPI Interiors, we listen and beautiful happens.
Welcome to Simply Cooking by MmmChef. I'm Daniela Croco, and I'm a holistic chef. I turn traditional classic recipes into nutrient-dense, delicious, simple eats. What are we going to be doing today? Stay tuned to find out. Leftovers. We all struggle with leftovers. What do we do? How do we use things that we have hidden in our fridge and in our pantry? Well, I run a weekly meal service and I always have leftover meals and I don't like to waste. So I'm going to turn them into something new. Let me see what I've got in the fridge. Ooh, I've got these shepherd's pies, veggies and dip, and I'm going to use an egg too. I've got a meat shepherd's pie that I made with grass-fed beef, and I've got a lentil shepherd's pie that I made with lentils and sweet potato, and I've got these sad-looking veggies and dip that I made a few days ago, and they're already starting to get dry. Well, I'm not going to waste them. I'm going to turn them into something new. I think I'm going to take these shepherd's pies and turn them into some fritters. I've got an awesome cast iron skillet here, and I'm going to turn this into kind of like a mix. Pop that in there. And you know what? I could do separate. I could do a vegetarian fritter and I could do a meat fritter, but me and my husband, we eat both. So I'm going to mix them both together. Look at that. Put those to the side. And I'm going to crack this egg in here to add as a binder so that they can hold together. I'm also going to grab some flour over here. I use gluten-free flour, but you can use whatever you like. All-purpose flour, cornstarch, potato starch, rice flour, anything really to just add a little bit of dryness to soak up all that moisture so that we can form some nice looking patties. I'm just gonna grab this, pour some of this in here. I don't have a recipe. I'm just looking for a certain feel. I'm looking for this to hold together so that I can form things and put them right into the frying pan. Perfect, it holds together nicely. That's the texture that I'm looking for so that it doesn't actually fall apart. I'm gonna give my hands a quick wash. I've got this cast iron skillet here that I'm going to fill with olive oil. I like to use olive oil because it imparts a great flavor, and I like to use the cast iron skillet because it holds even heat and it gives a nice crisp. I use olive oil because I'm not going to make the pan super hot, but if I was going to be deep frying, I would use something like a sunflower seed oil or an avocado oil, which has a higher temperature. Ooh, our skillet is just hot. It is hot to the touch. I'm going to form some patties and get them into that oil so they can start sizzling. You can make them as big or as little as you want, but I'm going to make them little appetizer size so that they're easy to dip. Ooh, I can hear that sizzle. That's exactly what I'm looking for. You could really do this with many different things. You don't have to stick to shepherd's pie. If you've got some leftover chicken pot pie or a veggie salad or even some dough that you've got that you can't use up, you can make little patties by adding flavors and vegetables. If you don't eat eggs, you can also use flax seeds or chia seeds mixed with a little bit of water, and that will help bind this together. Excellent. Now while we're waiting for those to cook, I'm going to give my hands a quick wipe and I'm going to get started on the salad while these guys get nice and crispy on the outside. What do I have in here? I have some leftover hard carrots and celery and cucumber and some little cherry tomatoes. You know what? All of these are a little bit dry. So you want to know what my trick is? My trick is to rinse them in a little bit of water to zhuzh them back up. So I'm going to do that. Now that they're nice and moist, it gives them a new life. And the outside of the carrots no longer look dry, and the cucumbers also no longer look dry. I have some leftover romaine lettuce in the fridge that I saw when I was opening the fridge earlier. So I'm going to chop these veggies, and then I'm going to grab some romaine to add to the bowl to make it like a real salad. I also have this homemade hummus that I had made for this veggies and dip, and I'm going to add some stuff to that later on to turn that into a dressing. Oh, I can hear those fritters frittering. They're making a lovely noise, and I can start to smell the delicious smells and flavors. There's lots of garlic in my shepherd's pie, so I can smell the garlic coming out of the oil right now. I'm gonna chop these celery and carrots together into little bite-sized pieces as a little topping for my salad. Little cherry tomatoes in half. You know, it doesn't really matter what type of leftover vegetables you have. Any veggies in the back of the fridge, chop them up, find some sort of dip of some kind, and you can mix it all together and create a beautiful salad. I grew up in an Italian household, and my nonna would never let me waste anything. We always made sure that we used everything up. Even leftover chicken bones from dinner, we put into the freezer so that we can turn them into chicken stock later on. And same with the cutoffs from all of our vegetables, like my onion peels and my garlic peels and my carrot peels. I have a bag in my freezer at all times that I put all the ends and pieces into so that when I have a lot of it, I can create some stock and use that in other recipes. Let me grab a spatula to flip this. Look at that beautiful browning. I'm going to turn the oven on so that when these guys are ready to go, I can pop them onto this pan and I can pop them into the oven so that they can stay nice and hot. And then this way, while I'm frying the other ones, the ones that have already been cooked, stay nice and hot and crispy for the rest of the dinner. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to turn this into a dressing. I've got a bowl over here I'm going to grab. I've got this bowl. I've got this leftover soggy sad hummus. I'm just going to put that in the bottom of the bowl there. Get rid of that. And now I'm going to look in the fridge and see what I've got to add to this. I've got mustard and honey, and what else do I have in here? Some vinegar. That sounds like a great mix for a salad dressing. I always like to make sure that my salad dressings have a bit of every flavor. So sweet, sour, salty, all the different umami flavors mixed together create a great salad dressing. And mustard is also my trick. I can take any dip like a hummus or a yogurt dip or any kind of dip really, and if you add a little bit of mustard and some sort of vinegar or something sour like lemon juice, it makes a great dressing. I've got some Dijon mustard here. I'm going to add that to my bowl. And I'm going to add some honey to the bowl as well. Just going to grab a spoon here. Not the right spoon, but we'll use what we find. And I'm going to add some apple cider vinegar for a little bit of acid. Oh, listen to those fritters. They are frying. I'm going to check them out. Let's flip these guys over. Oh, they're nice and brown on the other side too. I also love to take things like leftover pulled chicken and leftover cooked salmon or even leftover cooked lentils that I have, and I like to mix that with a lot of herbs and flavors, a little egg, and make little fritters just like this. These freeze really well as well, so if we don't get to them all tonight, not only are we making a leftovers meal, but we're making more meals out of leftovers, so kind of like a double leftover meal. Let me form a few more patties and get them into this pan. Now I've got to think about what I'm going to make to dip these into. When I opened the fridge earlier, I saw I had the end of a jar of some, I think it was barbecue sauce. Maybe I'm going to add some flavor to that and turn that into an awesome dipping sauce for these fritters. I'm going to give my hands a quick rinse. Now my oven is nice and hot, and I can get this into the oven so that they can stay hot and crispy while the rest of my meal finishes cooking. All right. Got a little whisk here so that I can whisk my salad dressing together. I already added the vinegar, but now it's time to add some oil, and I want to emulsify it. So I'm going to start stirring as I add the oil. Look at that. It's coming together really nicely. And then, of course, salt, which I always had right next to me by the stove because we want to season at every step. Yummy. I'm going to put that aside with my chopped vegetables, and I'm going to grab some lettuce in a little bit to make that into a real salad. I'm going to put these back in the fridge and grab that barbecue sauce that I saw so that I can start creating a sauce to go with my fritters. All right. Here's another example of taking leftovers. I have these pickled olives and radishes that were in this jar, and there's only 2 at the end of the jar, but I don't want to waste this delicious juice, so I'm going to actually use this juice and add it to my leftover barbecue sauce to make a sour and sweet kind of dip for my fritters. I'm going to give these a quick flip so that they don't burn, because many times I get carried away with doing something else and I let things burn, so we always have to pay attention to what we have in the pan. These are so brown and crispy. I love it. All right, now I'm going to create the salad. So I've got my chopped veggies and the beautiful dressing that I made and an empty bowl for my salad. I'm just going to grab the romaine lettuce from the fridge. Got a beautiful romaine lettuce here. I'm just going to break this up right into the bowl. I like to wash all my veggies before I put them in the fridge so that when I'm on the go or in a rush, I can actually just grab things from the fridge and make them directly. I don't have to worry about washing and drying anything when I'm in a rush to make something. Got this beautiful lettuce here in the bowl, and I'm going to take all my chopped veggies and put them on top. Now that my salad is made, I'm going to pour this dressing on top, but I'm actually not going to mix it. I'm just going to let the dressing sit on the top of my salad bowl to the side so that I can finish the rest of the meal, and then right at the last second, I'm going to give that a toss so the dressing can get all over the lovely lettuce. We just don't want the lettuce to get soggy while we're waiting for everything else to be finished. I'm going to pull the pan out to get these out of the pan into the oven so I can make another round, and then I'm going to work on the dipping sauce for my fritters. Stay tuned.
This program is brought to you in part by CPI Interiors, designing customized home spaces for all tastes and budgets for over 20 years. At CPI Interiors, we listen and beautiful happens.
Now that I've got my second batch of fritters going and my salad is ready to be mixed, I'm going to make the little dipping sauce for my fritters. I've got that barbecue sauce that I found left over in the fridge that I'm going to add to the bowl. And I've got the juice from the leftover pickled olives and pickled radishes in my jar. Yum. And you know what? Just for good measure, I'm going to add a little splash of the apple cider vinegar. Raw apple cider vinegar has real live cultures in it, and it actually can help digest your food as you're eating it. So it's a little trick that I like to use to add to a lot of my recipes and a lot of the things that I'm making, because it can help make your stomach hurt a little bit less if you're eating something indulgent like a fried fritter like this. Look at this sauce. It is ready to go. I'm gonna put my sauce to the side for my fritters, and I'm just gonna grab the pan out of the oven. Look at those. And these guys are ready to come out. I'm gonna turn this off. Oh, they smell delicious. Who would have ever thought that you could take a shepherd's pie and turn it into a completely different meal? All right, now that I've got my fritters ready, I'm gonna give my salad a lovely toss. Got my salad tossers here. Beautiful. Crispy, sweet and sour salad with pops of flavor from my leftover veggies and dip. And it was a lemon and garlic hummus that I made, so it's gonna give it a nice creamy texture. I've got my salad ready, my fritters ready. I'm just gonna grab a plate here. All right. Dinner in a pinch out of things that I already had. I didn't have to go to the grocery store and buy anything. Some salad, some fritters. There are so many things you can do to take things that you have and reinvent them into something else. The end of a mustard jar, the end of a barbecue sauce jar, leftover meals. There really is no end to all of the different ideas that you can come up with to create something new out of nothing or something that you already have. I'm gonna take this delicious barbecue sauce that I just made, give it a nice drizzle over top of my fritters. Now there you have it. A leftover meal, things that you already had in the fridge turned into a delicious dinner. And then I can take these fritters and whatever I have left over of these, I can freeze them on parchment so that they're not touching. And then in a pinch after work one day, I can open up the freezer, grab a couple patties, throw them in my toaster oven or in the microwave if I really want to, and I've got a dinner in a pinch. Using leftovers and cleaning out the fridge doesn't mean throwing things away. We can take simple ingredients and leftover foods and turn them into something new. Now, wasn't that simple? Thanks for watching. See you next time.